You good?
3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Get Well Soon family.
Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day.
This is your host, Tyler Kidd.
And this is your And I'm your co-host, Angelina Mesa.
And whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music Podcast, or watching us here on YouTube, hey, and welcome to the second episode of the Get Well Soon podcast. Were they really a good parent?
Ooh.
I'm not a parent, but you are, so it's going to be a little personal. I mean, we're talking about our childhoods and stuff like that, but
yeah.
Were they actually a good parent? This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness. As somebody who personally goes here, and last episode I said for a couple of months, it's actually been a year of me coming here every 2 weeks. And it's just, they've been a really great resource as somebody who never found comfortability in therapy and like being told, you know, you're this, here's this medication, you're this, here's that medication. Mm-hmm. The counselors here, they give you the resources and the mental capacity and the practices and stuff to actually get through the things that you go through, because I like swallow my spit. Most people like don't realize this, but we actually all do go through a lot of the similar things, and it's just unfortunately a part of life. Mm-hmm. And they just give you the resources to where you can get through it for a very long time, like for the rest of your life, versus, you know, oh, you're this, take this script type of thing. Yeah. It's like that's like a Band-Aid solution to a deeper rooted issue. Yeah. So if you ever want to check out and, you know, just come in and talk to one of them, if you ever want to go check them out, everything will always be linked in our bio on all of our socials, and we'll even have the banner running right now for you guys with a little bit more information. But let's get into episode 2.
Tissues are on deck.
Yeah, she's going to cry. And also, if I laugh, it's not because I think it's funny.
I know.
I get really nervous.
I did the same thing.
But I'm definitely going to laugh.
So we're going to dive into a little bit about our childhood, I guess you could say.
Just to give you guys some kind of like base of where we're coming from when we talk about certain things, because I do think we talk about a lot of deeper topics, and we never want people to be like, okay, like, who are you to talk about that? So a little bit of us every episode.
So Tyler, how were you raised and brought up? Laugh, giggle.
I mean,
dark humor.
The dark humor joke popped immediately, but we're here for healing and growth. Dark humor is not in the room with us today. But I mean, I could talk about a whole like episode about childhood development and all that stuff, but I was raised by my mom. My dad was like in my life for a little bit growing up. I don't actually remember a lot of my childhood, and I'm pretty sure it's probably like a trauma response, but I don't. But the bits that I remember, like, I don't know, my mom was always busy, and we usually were at like a sitter during most of the day, and I feel like I grew up, obviously, like my mom raised me. She kept the lights on, she did what she needed to do, but at the same time, because she was always doing that, it kind of like, I don't really feel like I'm a child that was raised with like parental supervision or like parental advice and stuff. Like, don't ask me anything about finances, and this is no shade to my mom, this is just like a product of growing up in a split household. I have 3 brothers. The one I didn't live with, but my other 2 brothers I've always lived with. And then like once I was in my early teens, my stepdad came into the picture and raised me for my whole life, and literally love him. Like, thank you. I don't know where I would be without my stepdad coming in and like, you know, just paying attention to the little things. I grew up feeling very, not ostracized, I don't know if that's the right word, but like I didn't necessarily ever really feel like I had like a home, like like the sense of home, and that kind of like allowed me to go through a lot of hardships and really bad experiences, or like just really rough ones, but now I've used them to like kind of like, you know, do something like this. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the worst. Sometimes we had movie month where we watched DVDs for a month and you thought it was the coolest thing, and then you come to find out it's just like, cable wasn't in the bills for this month type of thing. Breakfast for dinner was a big thing, but like I love breakfast for dinner.
That was such a huge thing
because it's eggs and stuff is so cheap. It's so easy to make, and kids love it. Yeah, so like my mom did everything to make us happy, gave us money for book fair, like, stuff like that. But I mean, I've never been to Disney World. You won't see me going to Disney 5 times a year. Like, it's not like we had like that kind of stuff going on. But what about yourself? Because I feel like we've talked a little bit, and I feel like you had You had mentioned some things to me that I was like, oh.
So my parents are separated. They were never married. The story of how they met is actually so funny, but that's for another time.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll have the moms on. Maybe we'll have our moms on and they can talk to the people about a little bit of trauma.
And so my mom got pregnant at 17 with me. And my dad actually...
Still here. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. And my dad was in shock that my mom was pregnant. He went MIA for the first couple months. She found out, which is understandable when you're that young. My dad was 19. My mom was 17. She was literally, I think it was
nowadays. Never mind. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. And my mom was literally a week before she was leaving for Westchester University.
She found out?
She found out. She was pregnant with me. She was getting her birth control shot, actually. Then she went to go take a test because you have to take a test before you get the shot. And, yeah.
They were like, actually, you can't get the shot.
You can't get it.
You have soon-to-be Angelina in your belly.
So... my mom still went away. She was a champ. She still went to college, still went to frat parties. She would act like she was, drinking, had stuff in her cup. It was just, water or Gatorade. Nothing like that.
But playing the part.
Yeah. And then after her first semester, she came home, and she raised me at my Mimi's house, which is my grandmother. And then my dad took a huge step, and they ended up moving in together, and they only lasted till I was about 2. And then if I wasn't at my dad's house, I was at my Mimi's house, and I lived at my Mimi's house till I was about 9 or 10. And then my mom got remarried, my dad got remarried, and yeah. And I have a stepdad, I have a stepmom, I have 6 siblings. None of them are blood, fully blood.
None of them are?
No, none. Some are half, and then my 2 oldest are step. But I grew up with them, so when people ask, I'm just they're...
Yeah, my older brother, we're half. Me and Elijah are actually half, but it was from my stepdad.
Yeah.
So it was from my stepdad. Oh my God, he and my mom, my stepdad and my mom had Elijah, and that's literally my brother. That's more my brother than Dominic. He's my actual blood brother fully, but... Yeah. My older brother, same, but we've always considered, just full. He just didn't live with us. He lived with his mom. But 6 is crazy. Yeah. I will say I do have a stepmom now. My dad got engaged last year. Whoop, whoop. Kim, I love you if you're watching this. Mm-hmm. Got a great additional set of grandparents. Yeah. I have a lot of grandparents.
So do I.
I got a lot of presents still for my birthday and Christmas, and I never wanted to end. Because you guys came in a little bit later in my life. You got to make up for those first couple of years. I love presents. That's why I think I love shopping, because it's buying yourself presents.
I love gifts and I love surprises. We used to play that invisible rope game when you would act one kid would stand across the street and the other would stand across the street and a car would come and you would act like there's a rope and they would bang on the brakes.
I did pretty crazy stuff growing up too.
I was 6 then. There was no reason for me to be doing that.
Yeah. No. It's fun. It's imagination. You're being creative. We'll say that.
Yeah. But it definitely towards the end turned into a bad area. I went to a Catholic school, but I went yeah. I went
no offense.
I went to a Catholic school before I went to public school, and that was interesting. Being in a Catholic school,
I guess that is kind of crazy.
Is
I wouldn't know.
Catholic school is all right, is your mom married? Isn't your mom I don't know how old she was at the time.
I love 25. Public school. I take back everything. Don't ask me questions about my mother.
They wouldn't ask me, but you could. They probably judged.
There was
I can't remember a lot of it, but being in that situation, there's so much. I feel of our childhood, we could have a whole episode.
We really could. I would love to have my friend Marissa on. She's really big into what she does with her career and childhood development.
Development.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But. So you're a mom.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to relate a little bit of this episode into you and you to give insight, not only for motherhood, but parenthood, especially because you did have your daughter young. How old were you?
I found out I was pregnant.
A little after you turned 21, right?
No, I was 22. Okay. I was 22 when I had her. Sorry, it's kind of all a blur.
She said ever since then. And it was around the time, it was around the time of the pandemic too, right?
So the pandemic kind of just ended.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. See, look, my time frame has never been okay since the pandemic.
Yeah, no.
Do you feel as though your childhood and the things that you went through and the experiences and how you were raised, do you feel like that has affected how you parent or how you choose to be a parent?
Yes. This is no bash to any of my parents. Like, my step-parents, my parents now, I love them. But I grew up with a lot of arguing when I was younger. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that, I don't want to say caused trauma, but just like
it does.
It does. So I think one rule like I always stuck with and I try to stick with is do not argue in front of Savannah. Not like obviously argue in front of her. Like you can have your little stupid arguments.
We're talking about the like, yelling at each other, full blown scream
like cursing
match.
At each other, like calling each other names, like all of that. Like I feel like that was very traumatizing for me to see, but also I didn't know any different. And
it's crazy that so like that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah,
I've always grown up in a screaming household, and also no shade to our parents, but my mom still screams to this day, but just like that's how she talks, and I'm like, you're not arguing with anybody anymore. Yeah. See, like now I don't remember my dad and my mom necessarily fighting because I did whatever, but based off of like other experiences, I'm going to assume that was a thing.
Yeah.
But with my mom and my stepdad, there was arguments, and I hated when it was in front of my little brother.
Yes.
Even if he's really little, because like you said, then we didn't know, but now that we're older, it does play back and you realize like, oh, is that why I do this and like why I do that? Like I'm always on the defensive, and I think that's because I grew up in a very loud, yelling, I've gotten a lot better with it now because I'm older and I've worked on myself, but my communication skills are, and this is for other reasons too, but from early on, for instance, I think that maybe the communication in my like actual relationship that I had would have been more of a red flag to me if it wasn't the same communication I was getting back at home.
Yeah.
Like if I was raised with a better example type of thing.
Yeah.
So I get that, like you wanting to set the example that like that's not a way to communicate, especially not to people who love each other type of thing. I respect that a lot.
And you have younger siblings as well, so I feel like I had a lot of experience before I had my daughter because I helped raise them. Like I was my mom's like right hand. I always wanted to help out no matter what. So yeah, like you said.
Because it's cool when you're younger.
Yeah.
But older, please stop. Don't ask me to do much now. I'm tired.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Because I feel like I wanted to ask you that because I feel like some people take how they were raised versus if it's trauma. Because I always stand by this. There's not a single person on this planet who doesn't have some kind of trauma.
And I want to point this out before. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
but
okay.
I feel like I know people who grow up in a household where their parents just completely ignore each other or ignored each other like growing up. And that's also a toxic environment. That's not a healthy marriage.
I can't wait for you to hear the anonymous submission I have for today.
Because
it's gonna like infuriate your soul.
It probably is
because it's parents ignoring the child.
I can't
and admitting it, like the father made okay, we'll get to that soon. But
yeah, I just can't stand that though. Like if your parents
just split up. Oh, sorry, I screamed at you guys. Just split up.
Yeah, you just have to split up. You do not live in a healthy, happy household. That you don't.
And it's not, and I'm telling you, at 99%, I'll say more like 85% of who we are usually stems from the childhood and the home.
It's facts.
Because you are a product of your environment. Like,
yeah.
If you look at, and this is because I'm a crazy Netflix documentary person, and I say this to people all the time, my friends are probably like, okay, here she goes again. Almost all serial killers, and people who like do like atrocious things to the point that they get a Netflix documentary, their childhood is awful. Like
parents ignoring them, abusement, their parents not being together, or their parents abusing each other in the house, or
I don't even know if I've really seen a super bad person come from a super good home.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people are just messed up, but start caring more about the environment you're raising your children in, please. Because
And
there's
if you
a
got,
lot of
and I
people-
say this all the time about my parents, I'm so happy they didn't stay together, because even though I have a split home, whatever you want to, like, caption it, like,
Yeah.
it was so much better off than them staying together. I could not imagine. I would literally lose
Yeah,
my
like,
mind.
imagine your life now if they were,
No.
like, you know what I'm saying? And if you didn't, if it wasn't Jason and your siblings and stuff like that, like...
Like, they just also would have ended up killing each other. And it is better that way. They should have. I'm happy they separated.
Oh, I'm a big... I don't want to have... This is also something for, like, I want to talk about later in the podcast. I do not want to put myself in a position where I'm raising children in a split home, like, from the jump.
Yeah.
I want to do everything possible to raise together in, you know, the same home, but...
And that's what they tried to do, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay, because you also don't want to end up resenting each other in, like, 10 years, and then you guys stop arguing, and then completely stop talking, and your kids be like...
My parents sleep in separate rooms.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when your friends were like would say that, or like it'd be like, oh, my dad sleeps on the couch, and it'd be every time you come over, and I'd just be like,
or like even they do sleep together, but they just don't talk, and they're just not used to their parents like not communicating with each other.
Yeah,
and you're like, that's not normal either.
But
that's a whole other topic.
I had asked you that first question about do you think it affects how you know, raise or whatever, because I feel like there's people who, like you have, or me, have a certain kind of, or experiences in childhood and when you're getting raised that implement better perspectives of how you want your own life to go.
Yeah.
And, like, for me, like, I know that I don't want to yell at my kids. Obviously, if you gotta get a little loud, you get a little loud, but I don't want to yell at my kids. I don't want to...
Listen, if Savannah bites me, you're getting bit back.
Yep, my cousin Stacy taught me, hit me, that's fine, but I hit twice as hard. Yeah. And I say that to all my little cousins and my little brother. But there's also some parents who have a really rough upbringing or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And instead of using that to make themselves a better parent, they pass on that generational trauma and are shitty fucking parents. And it's like... do you realize that by you doing that, there's no point in what you went through? You're literally just becoming a product of your traumas.
Yeah.
Versus if you turn it into something good, it's like, all right, you know what? That shouldn't have happened to me. I wish it was better, but now I'm this amazing person and I can be an amazing person for my kids. Yeah. I feel like that gives you so much more power than just kind of like being like, my mom and dad were this and that, and that's what I am. Like, ew. While talking about, you know, deciding whether or not you're going to use what you go through to make you a better person, we're going to go into Would You Rather. And I have a Would You Rather for you, and then you can tell me yours.
Okay.
Would you rather go through a really shitty childhood that gives you a lot of, like, trauma and stuff like that, but it also gives you a lot of knowledge and experience?
Yeah.
Or to go through a very stable, healthy household, but lose all of the knowledge of what it's like to not have that?
I don't know. Oh my god. I'm like speechless right now because I don't know.
We have to pick.
I know we do.
A or B, 1 or 2.
Okay. I'm gonna say.
You can say. I feel like I know which one you want to say.
Which one do you think I want to say?
Ignorance is bliss. You'd rather have a stable, loving home and not know?
No, I think I would rather know.
Would rather know. I would. I mean, I already do know, so I can't.
Yeah, see, and that's why I'm like, I don't know how I would be if I...
Like, would I be a stuck-up person?
So, yeah.
Would I not have the standards?
And would I be, like, the mother I am without the experience?
Like, would I be knocked up right now by, like, some random?
Yeah.
Because I don't have the principle that, like, I need a husband.
I couldn't even imagine living in, like, this happy fairy tale home my whole life.
Yeah, like, what would that... I feel like that's a very cushioned life. And this is, obviously, if you were born in a very loving, stable home,
that is
for you. What, you know, that is. Like, I'm sure you're going to learn what we learned just a different way. But I always say, like, and the only reason I can be okay with the bad things that have ever happened in my life is by silver lining it, which you guys are going to realize that's a really big thing for me.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, well, for instance, like, when I got ghosted.
You probably would have had a meltdown if you didn't have the experience.
First of all, never in my life, I thought, like, oh, I do the ghosting, me getting ghosted, whatever. But I was so fine with it because I was just like, okay. Taught me a little lesson. Like, I took a few lessons, actually.
Yeah.
And I was, like, sad for, like, a day. But, like, that's just whenever things like that happen. When yesterday, when we had all the technical difficulties, I'm like, you know what? This shit fucking sucks, but...
It's fine.
I'm going to know how to do something 20 times better now.
Yeah. All right. So.
Okay, would you rather?
Would you rather be a stay-at-home mom, but your husband constantly throws money in your face? Or because he pays for everything? Or would you rather be a working mom and the husband is never to home to help once you're home from work? I'm sorry, I'm laughing because you put dash either die.
Because I briefly read hers, and once I got, like, towards the or, and I was like, I already know this is going to be. Okay, so would I rather be a stay-at-home mom, everything's provided for me, lavish life, whatever, but he throws the money in my face constantly. Or he's the stay-at-home dad?
No, like, you're both working,
but when we're home, it's all on me.
Yes.
But he doesn't throw money in my face.
No.
Because he's a fucking bum.
Yeah.
Ew. I don't win in either situation.
I know.
It's a lose. Okay, well then I'm going to take... Okay, I'm going to take the second one. Mm-hmm. Because one, I need my own money.
Yeah.
There's, like, the first one, I can't lash out back at you. Because you're taking my money away. Because my money's your money.
Yeah.
But... a stay-at-home mom doesn't, like, because I can get a lot done as a stay-at-home mom.
Not with 6 kids, if you actually have 6 kids.
Okay, she just called me out. I would, like, damn, all right.
And when they're all in school, yeah.
Yeah, great time. I'm just going to knock them out. Boom, boom, boom. Just kidding. Okay, anyway, back to the would you rather.
Your poor Gucci.
I picked I feel like with the Kardashians didn't get, like, rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I hope my dad's not listening. And the second one I picked because eventually after that many times of coming home, he's just gonna come home one day and it's not gonna be me and the kids. It's a cold ass house and dinner's not cooked. I'm out. The worst paper aside there you go, because that's crazy.
In my head, I was going with 2.
Yeah, because, like, you can do something some days.
Work is like...
I'm eating the mic again.
Work, I think of as, like, a free time for a mom. That's so sad to say.
Yeah.
And then you come home and, like... I'd rather just do everything for my kids anyway because my OCD, so just get out of my face. No. But when it comes to certain stuff, definitely when I have more kids, Sean... he's a huge help now. I can't even compare. But
I just realized that, like, 2 parts of my future clash, and you pointed it out, and it's the 6 kids and the type of business that I want to be running in, like, 5 to 10 years, and then for the rest of my life, like...
You need a nanny.
Yeah.
You'll be able to afford a nanny.
Yeah. But it can't just be any nanny. Like, you have to...
I'll take care of them.
Yeah, like, can I just hire you?
Go ahead.
And you'll be, like, certified in, like, all the nursing stuff, so, like, my kids' lives are good.
Yeah.
CPR, you're not doing it to the beat of the sound. That shit cracked. You said, okay, don't touch me, call 911, and you meant it, like, with every fiber in your being. But yeah, that would you rather actually sucked.
Yeah. I thought it was a good one because some people think...
Well, it's a lose-lose, so it's like you don't want to pick. I want to know, comment down below if you, like, are watching this on YouTube, what you would pick if you want to be a stay-at-home mom whose husband's always making very well aware that you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Or to be, like, working your ass off. And your husband, too, but when you get back, like, you're picking up all the slack.
And I just want to point this out. If you're a stay-at-home mom... and if you're a guy that's watching and your future wife wants to be a stay-at-home mom, that is a full-time job.
Yes.
That's it.
So give her credit where credit's due. I actually know a full-time stay-at-home mom. Her name's Rachel. Rachel, if you're watching, hi. She makes content, like, as a stay-at-home mom, and I love watching it, but she's very, like, authentic about it, like, days where she's, like, really exhausted, or when she tries to, like, switch it up with her kids and, like, cleaning her car and stuff like that, because it's like whatever. But I really, like, appreciate it, and I you never know someone's like true relationship behind the doors, but from what I see, like it's amazing to see that like her husband's really like supportive. They do the little date nights and stuff like that. Oh my god, I hope she doesn't feel like I'm airing out her business, but she's like a social media person, so like this is our life. But yeah, I would love to be, if my future husband ever sees this, I don't mind being a stay-at-home mom, but I'm going to be bringing in a lot of income. So it's like, actually, could we both be stay-at-home parents? Because then I don't need a nanny.
That would be lovely.
A fucking dream.
Oh my god.
Like you have your career, profession that you do, but on your own time.
Me and Sean would love that because we both love spending time with Savannah.
You could do so much.
And
then you just have the parts of your days where.
I have more kids.
Yeah, I'm having 6. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Watch.
You're not crazy, but you'll be able to afford it.
Oh, speaking about that, wait a second.
This episode could have been like 2 parts because I could talk about things like this.
Well, that's why this is great, because we have a lot of episodes to do for the rest of our lives.
For the rest of our lives.
Well, I mean, to be honest, if we could do it for the rest, it'd be like old ass ladies. Like, I'm sure people would like really still listen in.
And then us have like no control of our bladder and just pee on the. I'm thinking of the nursing. This is why I don't want to get old.
The moment I start pissing myself as a grown adult, future kids, you have my full fucking permission to take me out. Put the pillow over mommy's face. And don't lift it up until I'm gone. No, I don't do that. Don't put me in diapers. Don't put me in a home. I'd rather you take me somewhere and just
shoot you in the middle of the woods.
Good night. Like, yeah, no.
Like a deer.
Like, no, don't shoot me. Don't shoot me, because I'm going to get anxiety before you pull the trigger. Like, when are they doing it? Like, just do the pillow and suffocation's fine. Or, like, slip something in my drink.
Yeah, and that's the easy
and make
way.
It a nice glass of wine.
Yeah.
Nice glass of wine.
Extra
and pop
large.
some rat poison in there, and mommy is in a better place, because I'm not pissing. No. Speaking of having kids and 6, and you said you want to, what's your dream number?
I would love 6.
Right?
Like, I really
And then
would.
us combined, that's 12. we could take over
a village.
Something.
We could have like a little compound.
And then like we all just like work from there and do whatever we want to do. Oh my god, we just manifested something crazy. I'm getting excited.
Sean will have 6 kids though, so you have
Sean will have 6 kids if you can afford to have 6 kids, and he doesn't have to go to work.
Oh yeah, he would.
He would do but anybody would.
Yeah.
Like, but speaking about having the 6 kids, you had a baby.
Yes.
What do you feel like with the whole like epidural? Because before you answer this, my mom did epidural with my one brother, and it numbed her from the waist up. And she was paralyzed and felt everything.
Yeah.
So, like, did you do an epidural?
No.
Period.
Yeah.
I love that.
I prepped so pregnancy was awful. I lost weight instead of gaining a lot of weight. In the end, I gained back of what I lost because I threw up so much. But I prepped my whole pregnancy to have control during labor. Can
I just say something before we continue this conversation for everybody who is still listening, and you all better be? I would just like to emphasize that the conversation we're about to have needs to be happening more, because it is so, like, I guess maybe because there's so many people who've had babies, and babies are happening all the time, that a woman having a baby is literally not like, it's not like anything like that. It is
hours.
But no, just the whole time leading up to it, how your body changes, how the chemicals in your brain change, how women die doing it. Like I just feel like it's a very light topic that should actually be more like, first of all, if your partner's pregnant or whatever, and you're like a shitty partner during that, have some fucking respect for the fact that a woman is doing what she's doing right now.
And they'll never forget that.
Like, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, as much, if you're a shitty partner to your wife who's pregnant, or a girlfriend, whatever, if you guys moved on from it, great, but she'll never, ever forget.
And the experience of having to do that.
Yeah.
I actually feel like we should do the controversy segment right now, because just to bring a little like laughter back into you, because then I'm going to ask you about how it felt to lose friends.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Just like that. So,
do you need the...
Yeah, I need your phone because I'm phoneless right now. I need 2 phones. Like, Rick Ross? I don't think that was him. So, for this segment, a new segment this week, Controversy, where we have a little fun in the episode just to bring kind of like life back into us, talking deep topics, where today we're going to be doing a pop culture moment, so a little scandal that's happening on TikTok right now, or at least when it comes out for you guys, it'll probably be like a week or 2 weeks, but I'm going to play the video, have it in the thing, but I'm going to show you too. But basically, this girl does like professional spray tans, like people before photo shoots, whatever, which...
Oh, I've seen this.
I've never...
know what you're talking about.
Oh, you saw this video? Yeah. And she did, like, these girls and whatever. She's been doing them, and then...
They dropped a tanning.
The photo shoot for the tanning product. Here, I'll let it play for you.
Give me the tea. What's the drama? What's happening in your life? I want to know.
That a large majority of the influencers holding those self-tanning bottles, acting like they self-tan themselves, they didn't. They went and got a professional spray tan. And their contract states they can't talk about any tanning before or after. And I've spray tanned most of those people. And also, there's an influencer, pretty large influencer, that has her own self-tanning brand. And I've not only sprayed her, but her models for the photo shoots.
So she goes on to claim that she didn't know at the time. I don't know how much I believe that, but as a person who does like recommendations and reviews on TikTok and stuff like that, and we've always talked, a really big thing is authenticity. I test everything on myself first. I only talk about things that I like. Yes, I get paid for a good amount of them, but that's because I posted a video unpaid, and they were like, "Oh my God, we love that you love us. Like, let's work together." And I bring in, good content for them. I cannot stand a fraudulent ass fucking influencer.
No, I
am
can't.
so sorry. If you
I don't care how big you are, there is no reason to start turning into that kind of person.
I understand, like, maybe for photos or whatever, like, oh, it looks airbrushed, whatever. But if you are promoting a self-tanning product and then not using that product to take the photos that you're using to then promote it, I swear I actually feel like you should lose your business. Like, because that's what happens, and that's obviously, I feel like this is...
Scam.
And now I'm wondering, how many self-tanners, whatever, because you see these people use... I'm like spitalicious today. Might be the tongue tie. I feel like I see a lot of people use like a self-tanner, and then you go to use it, and it doesn't look anything like it was supposed to, and you're like, huh... Damn,
am I doing this wrong?
Maybe I didn't scrub or exfoliate. You're looking up self-tanner tricks. No, the bitches are getting spray tanned and telling you that it's their tanner. That's crazy. No.
And I feel like a lot of people, they grow, so they think, oh, now that I have all these followers, I can fake it.
The influencer she talked about got name dropped in the comments.
Oh, I didn't even read.
I guess before we get into the anonymous submission, there was one thing I felt was like really important for you to talk about in this episode. And I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
You guys are be hearing more about like her journey and like as a young mom and just parenthood in general. And I feel like as we all get older, because we want this podcast to not just be for a few months or whatever, we want longevity. That as we all kind of start to have kids and grow up, and even the girls who are younger, when they're not really in the stage to have kids, just hearing us like looking up in a way, and then there's people who have already had kids, you know, kind of relating back. Loss of friends. Everybody says it. Everybody talks about it. Yeah. It's a very well-known thing but can you explain more? Because I saw like in our notes and stuff you'd written that it doesn't just like happen the way that people think it happens.
No, so you just all have a baby and you lose friends kind of thing. I feel like when you get pregnant, especially when it's young, unexpected, it's like, oh, wow. Like,
how many people sent your announcement post?
100, over 100, I believe, sent my announcement post on Instagram.
Around like a couple years ago.
I was 22, so the people I went to high school with were graduating. I still didn't graduate. I was in like a loop. I went through a very toxic relationship, but that's for another time.
Yeah, we're gonna save that for another time. Yeah, Roger, write that in.
So I just So I got pregnant. The first person I told was my best friend. I literally was at work. I texted her a picture of it. Was on the bathroom floor crying with the kid I was nannying, and I was like, oh shit.
The best friend that you
Am I
mentioned?
still best friends with her?
Yes. Is it Brie?
It's actually Emily.
Okay. Oh, you've talked about Emily.
Yeah.
Okay. So when do you feel like you started to realize that? Because I feel like, and this is not my experience.
Yeah.
I feel like when you first pregnant, it's all like, oh my god,
yay, yes.
baby shower, yay,
Yay.
And then when
But
is it
even
kind of like
during pregnancy, you
start to see it? Like, is it like you don't get
Dying.
invited to places?
You
and,
don't
like,
get invited. Yeah, you don't get invited. People don't check in on you. And listen, I'm going to make this very clear. I know all your people's lives didn't stop just because I am pregnant and just because I had a baby. But me being a selfless person that I am, and I will preach this every day because I will spend my last dime on you. And
yeah. I was actually just talking to my mom about you being like that yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Happy Mother's Day. I actually didn't say it to you yet. I'm literally someone. She's a bitch. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Don't call me that. We talked about this last episode too. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. I know your world didn't stop, but when someone around you that is so close to you gets pregnant, has a baby, you should want to be there every step of the way.
Now I want to say something, and this is not going against what you said, but I'm always put both the feet, shoes, whatever. With how you're a selfless person, nobody should have checked out of your life. They should have really checked in. But there's people who get pregnant and they aren't good people or they aren't good parents, and you have to be like, I can't. You try.
Well, yeah.
I got to take a step back. I just feel like I've been in a situation where it's like you really want to be there.
Yeah, for the kids,
but it's almost like your friendship isn't what it used to be, or your friendship, there's maybe something in the friendship that's kind of like...
It was a toxic environment for you to be in.
Yes. Oh my God, that was a great way to say it. It wasn't the most stable, healthiest type of thing.
Yeah. But if you're not that kind of person and you put your babies first, you put
yourself last.
You put yourself last, but you're always there for your friends. And when you come from, like, I have dropped so many things for people, and for people just to slowly, like, I guess keep living their lives. But I don't want to say I'm asking you to stop living your life.
You don't have to keep trying to validate like them being fucked up people.
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's just,
they should have been there.
Yeah, like,
you're not demanding
just
much.
Just check on my daughter. Don't even.
Have you had friends? Have you had really good friends who have never yet seen your daughter?
Yeah. They've seen them once, maybe twice. Other than that,
what a loss. I'm so sorry. I love her little life, and not just because she's my birthday twin. She is so, you can tell when a kid is having a really good upbringing. Like, she is so silly, and so, like, her personality and stuff like that, and the way that, she knows, oh, I'm not supposed to touch this, and she'll look and she'll giggle, but she won't touch it unless she knows that you're looking at her about to do it, and you're gonna let her do it. Which I'm like, oh, look, whatever. And with all her little words and stuff like that, definitely a mama's girl right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, she works out with us.
Eye bags, don't tell.
Yeah, she sleep in her crib last night?
Yes, she did.
Woo woo.
I know. But yeah, you just lose people.
But would you even say that it's necessarily losing,
I know, you just find out who your true friends are. People say you find out who your true friends are in college. No. You find out who your true friends are when you get married when you have kids.
I was going to say, I think I could say that whenever your life takes a pretty good drastic change, that's when you find out your friends. And sometimes people, I'm not even going to say that because that's going to try and validate the wrong people. The wrong people are going to take that as validation. So actually, to the next topic. Just for anybody who is a mother, a father, in the parenthood, wants to be, anybody who's listening right now, what are like 3 takeaways from your experience in parenthood so far that you feel like, you know, you could maybe like, and you don't have to dive deep now, we can save it for another episode, but things that like you went through even that you want to be able to help other people kind of get through?
Postpartum.
Because that's not talked enough either. There's like people who like kill their kids during postpartum.
Yeah.
Sorry, I told you guys, Netflix documentary. I just watched this thing about like top 10 awful parents, a YouTube documentary, and like every mother that did things that I will not say on this podcast, it was like they like severe postpartum. The one like didn't even recognize that like
it was their baby.
Yeah, and I also heard a lady in my town in a local bake shop talking about her when she had postpartum. I was drinking my coffee. I was just listening. She completely had like alien syndrome. I think the baby stayed in the hospital longer than she did. And when the baby finally came home, she was like, that's not my baby, and had like a full disassociation. And I was like, that is some severe fucking shit. And why are we not talking about that? Because that's not like...
It's not talked about a lot. I don't want to dive too much into it, but...
We'll save it for...
Postpartum, that shit's hard. I never really understood why my mom worried so much about me growing up.
Yeah.
Until I became a mother. I mean, literally the other day, Savannah was outside climbing up steps, and I just pictured in my head, what will I do if she falls backwards, cracks her head open? Like, what will I do in that moment?
And like scenarios like that just play all the time.
Play nonstop.
And is that like a postpartum kind of thing? Is it?
It's not normal. I mean, it might be normal for postpartum
like I
moms
said,
to have,
I feel like a lot of things
aren't
similar.
Said, but I never had those issues before. I never played in my head situations.
And like, you've told me in the mornings we've like gone to work out that like I had the worst nightmare. You jumped out of your sleep. Somebody was kidnapping her. Somebody was like this, like over and over again.
And my mom used to tell me those stories. Like she would have situations like that. I'd be like, you're crazy. Yeah. I'm fine. But now being a mother, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
and it's almost like you carried something like safely inside of you. Yeah. Now it's out and about, and it's like...
And you think the worst.
Okay, so to wrap up this episode, I know this one's probably going to be just a little bit longer than the last one, but really good episode. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yes, all the
mothers to be, even mothers of loss.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, you should... Guys, I want you to feel good today, too. I need to borrow your phone again.
Yeah. Here you go.
Okay. So, welcome to the weekly anonymous submissions. This week, Angelina doesn't have one. I'm just going to read one because I wanted to get her opinion as a parent about this anonymous submission. So it goes. The title of it is, I Can't Stand My Toddler. I have a 3-year-old boy who's hyperactive, aka he's a fucking 3-year-old boy. I'm a busy professional, and while I'm at work, my wife leaves my kid watching TV by himself most of the time. On my day off, I try to spend as much time as possible, but that backfires as I get fed up with his hyperactivity and end up fighting with my wife because she doesn't want to spend time with him as well. I feel the TV is bad for him, but can't afford a daycare now, and I feel I can't and don't want to play with him. My wife said that I don't have to spend any time with him, which is crazy, if I don't want to, because she's fed up that I keep asking her to spend time with him when I don't want to. Am I being unrealistic and unreasonable? Anybody going through the same problems? Don't have fucking kids. I don't understand.
So it's a fact. It takes your years, 2 bodies. It takes your years, 2 bodies. It takes your body 2 years to go back to... Your body will never be normal after you have a baby. But it takes yourself about 2 years for your hormones to kind of go back to what they were. The baby's 3. Terrible fucking 3s is a thing. I watched it with my little siblings. I watched it with the kids I nannied.
Yeah.
But first off, check on your wife, because maybe she has something else deeper rooted problem. But also, I don't want to assume, but with what he is saying, that's just laziness.
And I think
your child does not deserve to sit in front of a TV.
And I'm gonna say something as somebody who's not a mother and has never given birth and doesn't have postpartum, but this is something that I believe in everything as somebody who had very, very long depression phase, a lot of hospital visits. Postpartum can lead to stuff like that. Yeah. It is entirely on you to decide that you need help, to be aware that you need help, and to go get help. Because I say that as it's not your fault that you have postpartum, but you have to recognize that, like, I'm really not okay. Yeah. I have a kid. I have a husband. I need to take care of myself. Yeah. And if your husband, because like you said, like, check in on her, there is going to be husbands who don't. Like, he doesn't want to hang out with the kid, whatever. He's not recognized, whatever. So I feel like it's like, for the mom, if she, I don't know if she is, he doesn't say that, but if she were in postpartum, I would hope that she would be like, at some point, because it's 3 years, that she'd be like, okay, I need to go and talk to somebody. And if it's not postpartum, I still think you should go talk to somebody, because for you to not want to be around your child is actually, and the child didn't ask for that, and that's going to affect your kid growing up. Oh, yeah. Growing up with two parents that absolutely avoided having to.
And no wonder why he's hyperactive, because he's sitting in front of a TV
frying his little chicken nugget brain.
My daughter...
TV amazes her. I'll just say that, because she doesn't watch it.
Yeah.
So when it's on for like a little, she'll put on like a short.
But she doesn't even watch it. She'll watch it for 30 seconds and then be like...
I think she likes like the shapes and the colors. Yeah. And then
it's like, okay, bye, I'm done.
I want to go chew on the Comcast remote and jump on the ball pin. And I want to play with my toys and climb on,
everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand. I'm not saying cut out all screen time.
There's a difference between being a guardian and being a parent. Yeah. Just going to say that about the whole iPad kid thing. Please stop with the iPad kids and have a conversation with your child.
Go back to bringing a coloring book to the restaurant.
As a waitress, oh my God, we have to wrap this up. As a waitress, I can't tell you how many parents come in with like a child, and the moment they start screaming, either they give them the entire thing of jellies to smash around, or they put an iPad, like, they have it ready, boom, right there. And the kid's quiet the whole time, and whatever, but like...
It's crazy, because I watched my dad and my stepmom. Those siblings had never had an iPad, and they are great when they go out to eat. Yeah. And they don't own an iPad. They have an Apple Watch. And
my kids, I mean, like, when my kids, you're going to have something at the time in your life where you need to contact me, and then we'll get you a phone when you need it. You don't need all that. You don't need it. My kids don't need an iPad. I will build you a treehouse in the tree outside for us to go play in before I go and buy 5 iPads for all my children.
And does my daughter not always stand out the back door?
Oh my God.
Always.
Your daughter is...
She's like, let me out.
And loves the water.
Loves...
Do not put her... Don't have her... She doesn't want to sit still. She hates sitting still.
No. And I know she's 14 months, but no. There's no such thing as movie time.
I'm just kidding. That's
a year and
3.
2...
I told you I'm really
2 months.
Off. I just stopped saying it was March. All right, well, let's do our peek in our pit of today. My peek, and this is not messed up, but it was just the funniest moment turning to you, because I was like, just chit-chat, and then the thing about it was she was dead smiling at me with tears streaming down her face, nodding her head. That's not my peek, but that was a good little... Yeah, it was just like a silly moment.
Like it all.
My peak was that you were able to have this episode to kind of talk about it, to briefly. I feel like you said, there's a lot of more conversations to be had, but I feel like this gave you like a really good space to kind of like start talking about it, and to talk about a little bestie, because like love her. And my pit of today was, I forgot to say this. You're gonna notice that the neon sign between us doesn't look real, because Roger had to put a sign in, because I forgot our podcast sign today. So we now have a podcast filming checklist, and it will be here next episode with our special guest coming.
Yeah, exciting.
What's your peek and pit?
My peak is my daughter sleeping in her crib last night.
Okay, well, that's a good one. And what was your pit?
My pit was... I don't know. I haven't had... Oh, actually, my pit was I literally haven't even started back up school yet, and I have, 3 quizzes due 3 days after I go back to school. So hell begins, guys. Welcome to nursing school.
So we will be here next Sunday at 11 a.m. Every episode of the Get Well Soon podcast will be coming out on Sundays. And like I said, 11 a.m. AST, just repeating myself. Next week, we will be having a special guest, a male guest.
Yep.
To kind of sit down and let us dig into the male brain. That's literally, I hope he knows this, I am digging into his brain. Respectfully and nicely, but I think it's going to be a really good one.
Yeah.
I want to hear what men think about things like situationships, which I don't even think is a real thing, but it's exciting. So we will see you guys next Sunday. Have a wonderful Mother's Day if you are a mother, and if you're not, go treat. This is their day. Today's not about you. Today's about them.
Treat that mama.
Treat that mama. Get a pet, something, even if it's
Watching her kid for 20 minutes.
It's not what I was thinking. Have a wonderful day, you guys.
Make sure to follow us on all of our socials. Subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. The links in our bios.
Everything's always linked.
Yeah.
Amazon, Spotify, Apple, Google.
All the fun things.
And I'm saying this, and I don't know if we actually have it up on all of that, but this is me manifesting that it's up on all of that.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Love you guys.